Rounded up and Henry and McKee Island, which is now under Lake Gunnerville in Alabama.
Fair use. I'm not profiting off of this. Just lining up scriptures with this video, Lord willing, is edified. Book of Ecclesiasticus, Sirach chapter 12, getting at verse 10, and it reads, Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Verse 11, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped the looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. Set him not by thee, least when he have overthrown thee. He stand up in thy place, neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat, and thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. Verse 13, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh a wild beast? Verse 14, so one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him is in his sins, who will pity? For a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. Verse 16, the enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. I will start off by giving all praise, all honor, and all glory to call Loyal. La Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim. Kodash, double honors to the elders, to the apostles that I learned this truth from. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so. More so than ever, shalom to the Akim and the Akwaf out there listening and learning. Lord willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Brother Yahweh, coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit, through the power of Yahweh. Hashem Yahweh Shai Yahweh, meaning he is, he exists, or he to be, by Hashem, by his id, his his name. Yahweh Shai, meaning he saves, or he deliverer. True names of the Most High God, his Son, who these people ignorantly call God, is Jesus Christ, but his true name, Paleo Hebrew, is Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Quick lesson. I was just scrolling, and the Lord sent the video my way, and the Spirit, kind of jumped on me because, it's funny the times we live in here, and it show you how like how close everything is. Because and if you ain't got this truth, how you really like the Lord pretty much abandoned you. Because you got people under the delusion. You got people that still thinking Donald Trump making America great. Now, don't get me wrong. You got people that don't even subscribe to the scriptures or know anything about the scriptures, but can see what's going on. Yeah. But yet still, it's like you got so many people that's lost too. Yeah. I remember my brother used to always talk about how lost I was, you know what I mean? And it's spiritual because I didn't find myself until I became homeless, because that's when I found the Lord. Well, that's not true. I found the Lord when I went through my testimony. Then the Lord took me through homelessness to test me and try me. So now I like the trials, the different trials and tests, I won't say the thing because they don't get easier. Yeah. You just get numb to it. Yeah. Well, that's what you're supposed to do. Yeah. Scriptures talk about in 2 Timothy about enduring hardness as a good soldier of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. A soldier goes into being solitary. So we're supposed to be like apart from this world. We have things in the world, but we're supposed to be apart from the world. You know what I mean? I was listening to Charles the White break down the whole, the camel for a man, pretty much for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of heaven, how pretty much he got to, go through like a camel through the eye of a needle. And he broke the shit down so completely wrong because his mindset is based on my mama said. This is a nigga. I hate Charles the White. I hate Charles the White more than some of the Edomites. You know why? Because he's a confused individual. You got people that literally, he's going to lead a lot of people astray. What he doesn't understand is the fact of you try to hold on to this world, you try to get all these riches of this world, and that basically is like an analogy towards the people. If you try to hold on to anything in this world, when the Lord is clearly showing you the end of this shit, then you go burn with this world. The scriptures talk about being as pilgrims. You know? So you gonna have brothers, and maybe brothers ain't gonna, because everybody lot ain't the same. Yeah, I wholeheartedly believe certain brothers go beat up with brothers. Brothers have dreams about these visions. You know, and you got some brothers that's gonna have to, endure that fire. And you don't know who the fuck you is. You don't know what the Lord got set up for you. You get what I'm saying? And I ain't about to lecture no grown ass me, and I'm done with that. And I ain't expecting a lecture. I'll listen to, like the one Jake from Atlanta said. These men are worthy of double honors, but at the same time, we all men. But I just found it funny because you got so many people really just taking heed to Charles the White, but Charles the White a nigga. Charles the White will sell you out. He already showed that. That's why the fuck he said him. And I have no respect for nobody like that. You go do something and then you tell on the nigga you did it with. The fuck out of here. We don't fuck with them kind. The nigga sell you out. The nigga he did it with. And this is how this white man think. You know what I mean? You got everybody admire this devil. They said that Donald Trump made more money in this presidency than he's made. He turned this country to show you how it's a corporation for real. Motherfuckers don't even know that. This is a corporate fucking ration. And they make money off of you on a daily. But now they about to put that fucking chip in a lot of these people that's ordained to get it. And literally show you just a product, nigga. And again, I don't make these videos for a newbie because you ain't gonna be able to keep up with my spirit. I done been through too much pain. So I lead it. I'm not the teacher. I say stuff. So I was watching this video because the Lord gave it to me. Because you got people that's gonna try. They gonna walk into what's that in 2nd Ezra chapter 16 about all those that consent to him shall be had in derision. You gonna have motherfuckers that's, we gonna go to this Walmart. Jabu 7 just did a video. He said that the government is buying up these large, gigantic warehouses. What you think they're for? And people so fucking just deceived and delusional. Scriptures talk about how the Lord gonna give you your delusion. You think your enemy about to help you. Hey, look, explain this one to me. Because, sometimes I just sit and think, this shit ain't rocket science. Is the Lord dealing with you to a degree? His spell is so weak because I can see it for what it is. Brothers can see it for what it is, but it's like they not even trying. But these people are so like enchanted, they just fall for anything. You still got motherfuckers thinking he about to give you $2,000. They shut down the government, but they passed the bill. So what you shut the government for? And they just pay attention. They literally said we funded it to September. You got to understand, before they did this budget, they said the whole reason is behind basically with this probably got to be a various topics. The whole point was it just because like again, when you see the devil for what the devil is, the word devil go to deceiver. You know what I'm saying? So if you still being deceived by this fucking devil, then the Lord really can't use you. You just like you missile food or something. Like what's your purpose? Not to make this about me, but I was just thinking, my demon called to talk about she want to speak to the children. We live in one of the hardest times in history, right? The fuck is your point of calling and you ain't trying to help your children? You know what I'm saying? No, you know what you want to do, so keep doing that. And we gonna see if the Lord gonna help you if you was right with the Lord for real. And I know he's not gonna help her. So my mindset with If I could look at her like that, what you think the average one gonna get? Like, the fuck, I'm gonna walk over these hoes where they dead, begging. I'm gonna act like I don't hear none of that. This is not. I'm not. I would do like Book of Eli when she was screaming and he gave you finished the mission. You're right. The Lord put you in that situation since you trusted everything, but you know what I mean? Like, is the Lord about to put a cold spirit on Salakia? So going back to what I said, this devil is a liar, right? So, why would you think he gonna save you? And throughout history, he has showed you how much he does not stand for himself. Never trust thine enemy. Enemy when he brought you over here. When they used to wear those white suits and hide their face. It's funny because remember the Ku Klux Klan, the Knights of Columbus and all that old shit? These organizations that still fucking around. Like literally, you got ICE doing the same shit. They just ain't just showing up just at Jake House. They showing up and just fucking with everybody. This whole Minnesota thing, again, you can see how testy everybody is. And Jacob's trouble gonna spill over to everybody's trouble. At a time like this, they buy just huge warehouses. This started with, we got to go get the migrants that they let get in. But now it's pretty much, we just gonna go get anybody that ain't American. They said ICE is about to come to Ohio. That's the next stop. So, scripture says never trust thy enemy, fair use, fair use. I'm not profiting off of this. Is what's let the line, some things he said up with scriptures. Lord will lead edify. Of course it would do that.
Village to build Central Park on top of it. It's history now. This is the truth now. This is what they don't teach you in school. This is the part they leave out the books and all that, right? When they tell you about it. And what's crazy is they can do this and you don't know because you wasn't here. All you know is what they're telling you, right? So they try to just erase all these black towns and black people from history. But nah, straight up, Tracy's gonna make sure we know the deal, baby. That's why I'm here. Number 4, Henry and McKee Island, which is now under Lake Gunnerville in Alabama. Number 5, Vanport, Oregon, is now located under Delta Park. Like I said, all these towns now are completely submerged under how much of what they put in there. They flooded the town now. They didn't destroy nothing, just covered it all up in water, and we just gonna fish on top of it and just boat on top of it. Like, we didn't just unalive all these people and take their homes, right? Number 6, Kennett, California. Number 7, Baird, California. Number 8, Elmore, California. Number 9, Morley, California. Number 10, Cibola, Colorado. Number 11, Saponero, Colorado. Number 12, Dillon, Colorado. Number 13, Jerusalem, Connecticut. Number 14, Old Fairfield, Indiana. Number 15, Round Valley, New Jersey. Number 16, Warren, Maryland. Number 17, Dana, Massachusetts. Number 18, Winfield, Massachusetts. Number 19, Greenfield, Massachusetts. Number 20, Prentice, Mississippi. Number 21, Brown Station, New York. And number 22, Neversink, New York, which apparently it's sank, but neither here nor there. Now, for all y'all to be talking about why y'all still talking about slavery and why I don't want to hear about slavery no more, that's well after slavery, all this happened. So this is what's going on with black people have to deal with and still the trauma we deal with.
You heard what he said, I'm going to rewind it a little bit. And then you'll have a nigga literally, that which I find funny because, I forgot who said it. I believe the elder said it before, but I've heard, like this guy, he's conscious enough to, this man is his enemy, but what's your solution? Like he make another statement showing you that he don't understand the scriptures. About like pretty much all we got to deal with. We got to deal with all these different things because we were cursed by the Heavenly Father because we went off. We chose not to follow. Like when a woman sit up there and she make the vow, I'm going to be married to this man through, how the vow go? In sickness and in health, through death do us part. So not just with the good times, but through the bad. You get what I'm saying? It's funny too, because I was just watching something about that chick from sister to sister. I think one married an Edomite, one married a nigga or Jake. And long story short, she left him thinking that and then now she talking about, I want my family back in the because, and they was going into the difference between men and women. Like women will be 50 years old, but it's still in their mind. It was something that was said. They said a man will see a younger man and see things within that younger man that remind him of himself. And a woman, 50 years old, thinks that 20-year-old woman. Women lose value at a certain point. The dude, the Satan, the sinner, I can't stand that nigga either, but at the same time, he said it made a valid point. He said it was like 12 women around him. He said, I could take each one of y'all in here and get y'all pregnant right tonight. He said, how often can you get pregnant? Unless the Lord give you like twins or quadruplets, which the odds of that is like, lottery type shit. At the end of the day, you got to wait 9 months. He said, so when you, get to a certain age, you can't even have no children no more. Your value, what I'm saying? He said, but as a man, we all know the scripture where King David, they brought that young, supple, young thing, you know what I'm saying? Trying to give him warmth, which people don't even understand. They was trying to get him to pop her. Because King David was a great man. What did King David have, like 18 sons or something like that? I had a book that just broke down a lot of other stuff, a Bible book. That demon threw that shit. I try not to think about the stuff. I mean, and not understanding, you thinking, because you told, oh yeah, like I didn't have a family like that. My mother and father wasn't, together. So I'm thinking, oh, I gotta try to, which that's showing you like you cannot strive against the Lord. You know what I mean? All this is preordained. But he made the comment like we controlling something. We not controlling shit. I'm an example of that one.
Now in our community, and why things are whatever you want to say, what's going on, and why we still want to talk about it, don't want to forget the past. This is why. This is what was going on way after.
The only thing I can commend about this man is that he understand and recognize who his enemy is. But again, we gonna need the Lord, brother. Well, I can't even say you my brother because you don't probably know you an Israelite. You know what I'm saying? You thinking you gonna get in and fight against them with their own laws and take up arms? Listen. If the old Black Panther Party was infiltrated, why the fuck the new one wouldn't be? I know about black nationalism and all that.
Not to say slavery in 1865. I just told you the first one that I gave you today was started in 1912. That's well after slavery. So please explain to me what's going on. Somebody tell me something that why y'all still talking about slavery and why y'all can't let it go. Because apparently y'all couldn't let it go. Which is why y'all...
Just a simple statistic. Think about this much. You know how many slave owners or companies that's around today that was basically created by slavery? But a nigga concerned about a fucking... And that's why I make a statement that people can't get me. I don't want to be here. The average nigga I'm around, which the Lord did bless me to be around like-minded brothers, you know what I mean? So, that was a blessing. But at the same time, my path a little bit different, I guess. And nothing happens by happenstance or coincidence. Everything is preordained.
Unalive everybody and flooded the whole town. They ain't racist. But you thought you was going to race them, but I'm going to make them straight up test, going to make sure they ain't the race. Which is why I made sure I wrote down every name and read every name that I had.
And maybe that's his lot. You know what I mean? Like we all got lots to fulfill. We all, come from the Father of spirits, which he created every spirit, correct? So, again, he ain't said nothing about the scripture or anything, but he has brought out information, which I've heard this before. I think an Edomite did it one time, but I know she didn't name this many cities. I mean, towns. And the funniest part, this is the devil because he's still doing it today. You know, remember them sundown towns that, what was that, last year that just got wiped the fuck away? So it's the Lord revisited it, but now he's sending that, you know, again, those curses gonna hit these Edomites. You know, how our women was leaving, now they women leaving.
And I researched and discovered, and I might have some more for you next week. Who knows? But that's insane. Yeah, you just gonna unalive everybody and just cover the towns like they never existed and just roll.
And that's why the scripture says, never trust thine enemy. You saw what he did. You should know your history, although he's whitewashing it, making it seem like slavery wasn't the way it was. You know, what's that dude, Mark Henry, that wrestled for WWF? He was going into how they did the whole blackface shit. And he was like, in his mind, which he, you know, I can't say how genuine them guys was, but, you know, he was talking about how one of the wrestlers didn't even know about the history of blackface. And he was aware enough. He was like, you know, this is a lot of the stuff that's like too rough. You know, Esau did so much wickedness. Esau is embarrassed about what the fuck he did. That's how you know you did wickedness. It went from manifest destiny to not, we ain't gonna even speak on what we did.
On with your business, huh? It's crazy. This is America, though, people. This is America. They destroyed Seneca Village to build Central Park on top of it. It's history now. This is the truth now. This is what they don't teach you in school.
Hey, and the funniest part is, he said, this is America. This is America. And we just witnessed, the whole world actually did, America just go and just take a whole motherfucking president, pretty much mandate, okay, now this man was elected. You ever met somebody that's just so fucked up in their mind that this man doesn't think he's doing nothing wrong? And that's why when the scriptures talk about a haughty spirit, how I go? Pride come before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall. When this whole Babylon the Great, aka America, fall, it's gonna be, yeah, that's why it's not gonna never be here again. Well, it's not gonna be destroyed, it's gonna be uninhabited. Because the whole world, you know, brother just did a video talking about that. He said the whole world hated Babylon. And that's why these nuclear capable countries is going to actually rain down fucking missiles on it. You know, Putin tried to still play chess with it to a degree. First he was talking about he's going to get involved with the Greenland shit. Now he's talking about it's no concern of ours. But like the elder said, it's going to be something that Babylon the Great going to do that Putin going to be like, oh no, we just about to kill y'all. So the spirit jumped on me because, again, I saw that. I was like, you know, and it's all because of us going off, you know. You know, America wasn't supposed to be, blessing. You got motherfuckers talking about 2026 is going to be that year because they try to reaffirm, yeah, this is going to be a better year. Like, nigga, we ain't even out of January. Well, we out of January now. You know what stuff. And look, I'm telling you, they about to ram this shit up. They passed the budget and it's funded all the way to September. So just imagine, remember what the last thing happened that's memorable about September was 9/11, remember? So just imagine the summer motherfuckers be talking about it's gonna be a wild summer. And like the one particular elder brother said, he said he believed during the Passover, shit really like the Lord really about to shake this shit up. So again, when you read Deuteronomy chapter 28, it's a good chapter to go because when you read into it, it actually shows you, the Lord said I was going to bless you if you followed the covenant, and he said I was going to curse you if you didn't. So it's 68 verses in this chapter. The first 15 is if you do this, I'm going to bless you. The rest of them is nothing but the curses. So when you look at certain nations of people and line up what the curse was with what they go through, you could clearly see who are the Israelites. The Lord didn't say he was going to say, oh, I'm going to just, the man going to come and put, the Lord said, I'm going to put you in the land. Physically. I'm going to take them out of power. Physically. This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 14. And thou shalt not go aside from any of the words which I command thee this day to the right hand or to the left to go after other gods to serve them. Which a lot of our people look at Esau Edom as a god. I was watching something, I was going to do a lesson on it. They was talking about 8 things that you didn't know about Donald Trump. And they was saying how pretty much like I said, pretty much they was going into how his father, he didn't make most of his money. His father gifted him the money. Hundreds of millions. Then they said how pretty much he had like 6 business ventures that pretty much failed. But y'all thinking that he pretty much this brilliant fucking investor, entrepreneur, where he's not. Even the elder said that. The beloved elder apostle said that one. Yeah, I remember the elder saying that. Then they said pretty much to reinvent his image like Rockefeller did. Rockefeller was thinking, it's a movie called There Will Be Blood with Daniel Day-Lewis. Daniel Day-Lewis is a great fucking actor, right? But I don't think he's supposed to, I don't think they called him Rockefeller in the movie, but I think he literally supposed to be Rockefeller. You know what I mean? But if you ain't never seen it, go check it out because pretty much he made all his money off of oil. But like how Rockefeller did, he was cutthroat. They monopolized and made the first standard oil that can be utilized for everything. To the point where they put the fucking oil in medicine. People don't even know that. Rockefeller had to do with the, I know the beloved elder apostle brought that out too. What's that shit? The Medical Association? Like they created that shit. They got their hand in everything because they really, the wicked, the scriptures tell you in Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Malachi chapter 1 tells you who the wicked are. Esau Edom, on the border of wickedness. Meaning all wickedness begins and ends with these fucking devils. And then you got everybody trust me, I get it. You know what I mean? That's why I made a statement before. I get young Jake, you know what I mean? I ain't gonna say I'm glad, but I'm an older man. Like I'm like Neo. I got woke up later. So you know what I mean? Like we played our part in wickedness. I know I did. And then Jake seeing the world and you stuck in the world but this is not the time to get stuck in the world. Satan is out here. Trust me. And the Lord, you got to remember, the Lord with us, but the Lord will try us too. But the point of me, I kind of went on a rant, but the point is, they said the show The Apprentice was to reinvent his image. Because he ate this great bending man. They said the first president, I think, to have never held, well, I don't think they said that. They said something about, because I don't think Ronald Reagan served because to be like the president, you got to like have either been an elected official or you got to have ran or been in the military or something like that. And he's neither one. They said, and the last thing was they said pretty much he's the first president to be impeached twice. Says, and thou shalt not go aside from any of these words which I command thee this day to the right hand or to the left to go after other gods to serve them. But it shall come to pass if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord, Yahweh shall shine thy power to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So that's why the scriptures talk about, I put before you blessings and curses. What make you think about Joshua? Joshua said, I don't know what God you gonna serve, but we gonna serve the Lord. My household gonna serve the Lord. So you had Israel that was willing to go astray and serve the other gods, while you got a remnant, which is always a remnant, that's go, remain and stay faithful to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. That's the reason why the Lord took us through what he took us through. This is the book of Revelation chapter 12, point is verse 10. No, the point is verse, I'm going to start at verse 10. It says, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power and the power of his Christ. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. You know, you got Satan, the devil, which Satan means adversary. You know, scriptures talk about Antichrist. It's not one Antichrist, it's many Antichrists. Scriptures tell you that. Everybody that's against Yahweh Shem Yahshua. And you got 2/3 of the nation of Israel that's against Yahweh Shem Yahshua. Scriptures talk about the elect received it and the rest were blinded. I remember I was talking to this female, like, what was that? Like, can't remember where that was. Because I was on this, the Facebook thing. I remember I met this female, and she was up there talking about the whole, she knew about the Project 2025 and all that shit. So I was like, damn, you actually know some shit. Yeah, she knew about like the whole immigration thing. But she said, to show you how foolish motherfuckers is, she like, this is not going to affect us. It's just going to be at them. But it's affecting us now, ain't it? I seen the footage of people in Chicago being detained that's niggas. You know what I'm saying? You talk about you looking for, so-called Mexicans and Hispanics and all that, but how you getting all these, Now they say they about to come here because, it's a community of Haitians that been let in Springfield, Ohio. Pretty much they, became their workforce. The Edomites, a brother did a video about that. They was willing to work while, first they was talking about, remember, because Donald Trump and they was talking about they was eating the dogs and cats down there. And J.D. Vance said that shit, remember? To the point where Kodak Black actually spoke up about it. But if you don't think they're going to be at other places besides just Springfield, again, you're naive. Verse 11. And they said, accuser of our brother. They said they was eating dogs and cats. At the time when they giving them money. Now, we all know about the dirt sandwiches and shit that the Haitians, the Levites was, We even know about the little, Haitian rebellion with the guy barbecue. And if you don't know, then you should know. That's how a lot of those Haitians got over here. They gave them asylum because it was a civil war there. Now they gonna send them back. Verse 11, and they overcame it by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. Because at the end of the day, only the true believers is gonna have that mindset. Hey, what's funny is, I heard a brother say that. He said, shit, you want to watch everything I do, you gonna try to baby boy me. He said, I'd rather be dead. I watch these dudes that's go to this, they got a gym called Diamond Gym in New Jersey. He said, bitch, I'd rather die. They got the dude Uck, which I love his spirit, because because he like, it's one thing to try to do it and can't do it. It's another thing to not even try to do it. So that's the type of mindset you got to have coming into this truth. Especially at the last stretch. These fucking devils said you will own nothing to be happy. Well, bitch, I'd rather die. Verse 12. Therefore rejoice ye heavens and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil has come down unto you have a great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And that's why you're seeing all this shit going on in the world. With this ICE especially. You ain't seen nothing. I've seen violence. You know, you got Jake that sit up there talking all this tough guy shit, and I'm not a tough guy. You know, like you've had brothers, or you got brothers that's actually seen combat. I can't see actual military combat, but I've seen violence a lot. So again, the Lord about to actually do the real sifting of separating who was full of shit and who, you know, and I'm not saying do violence. The Lord go orchestrate all that. You know, Mike Tyson said something. Mike Tyson said about how, you know, you know, the Lord will play with you when you become that champ because the Lord gave you this gift, but then you get to be thinking that you a God. But any true fighter should know that it's always, that could be his day. You know what I'm saying? As many niggas you done fucked up, that could be your day. I like Ben Whitaker. He remind me of that one dude that fought Mayweather. He like one of the few dudes that they don't speak on that gave Mayweather a lot of problems when he was young, too. Because he got that weird ass style, that drunken master shit. So yeah, you about to see a lot of violence, flat out. You know, scriptures talk about what's that in Revelation chapter 18? By violence, this place shall be thrown down. Numbers chapter 35, it said this place was gotten by blood. So only way to cleanse the land is by blood. And they doing a left hand magic on the left hand side. First they made that movie Marvel Civil War with, you know, Captain America against Iron Man. Did you actually have that movie Civil War? Which I couldn't get into that. I tried to watch it. I was like, this is bullshit. I think I fell asleep on it. But at the same time, it's like it's working in the background, beyond the scenes. You know, I mean, what do you think Dabu 7 and people like Richie from Boston are talking about? You know, like, you know, what do you think they talk about for real? They ain't talking about no motherfucking vacation. Where they want to go, they're talking about what's about to take place. Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 1. So our job as watchmen is to call this devil out. You know, actually, because we watch it, we see it everything and line it up with the scriptures, but we especially supposed to call this devil out. And that's why this devil's going to have a judgment, because the Lord put him in his position. You know, and he doing his job. Yeah. I gave DJ Trump a clap. I say this nigga good for prophecy. He has done more within this little, year? Did, you know, like the elder always bring up that quote, you know, you say decades go by and days happen, and then you got, or roughly paraphrased, you know, decades go by and weeks happen, and then you got weeks happen and decades go by, or decades happen, roughly paraphrased. He did so much. This is Ezekiel chapter 35. I'm going to read the subtitle. It says prophecy against Mount Seir. Ezekiel 35 verse 1. Moreover, the word of the Lord Yahweh Shah came unto me saying, Son of man, Seir, and prophesy against it, which represents, you know, Esau and Edom, because that was their homeland. Verse 3, and say unto it, thus saith the Lord, power, behold. You know, like, you know, I would forget, even before like coming to the truth, you hear about how they pushed all the fucking Edomites into the caves. And say unto it, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shah power, behold, here I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh Shah. This is all, the Lord is going to do all these things. Verse 5, the point, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Verse 6, therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh shall power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Verse 7, thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth. Let's look at the word desolation real quick. For those that don't know what desolate means. The word desolate.
Strong's H 8070 Shemama. Shemama.
Says,
And second entry, Shemama. Shemama.
and it says laid most desolate waste. Devastation, waste, desolation. So he's going to destroy them. And the scriptures tell you that the Most High God is a man that he shall not lie. He can't lie. He's bound by his own word. So if he said these things was going to happen to us and they took place, then what you think going to happen to Esau, Edom? And the scriptures talk about what he did to us, he going to do double to them. So I'm going to end the lesson there. You know, if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, statutes, commandments of your power. True name in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh Ba Shem Yahushua, or you will be destroyed. With that, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to call Loyam, La Yahweh Ba Shem Yahushua, Ba Shem Kodash, double honors to the elders, to the apostles that I learned this truth from. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, not more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Aquath for listening and learning. Lord Willey, this is edifying. Shalom to Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, that who subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Till next time, Lord Willey, shalom, shalom. Kwam Yasharala, Wath Lababah.